All right, welcome back to another episode of the Weeb Retreat podcast. We hope you enjoy your stay. We are the Weebs, your hosts. My name is James. This is Jerms, and today we have a lot to talk about. How you doing, Jerms?
Doing good, doing good. Another spicy week. A lot of episodes I watched. A lot of anime on my brain right now.
Yeah, but I'm not rocking the shades. No glasses for once. So big changes around here at the Weeb Retreat. As always, timestamps will be in the description below. All right, let's get into the weekly roundup. Boku No Hero, episode 10 of this 5th season. What did you think, Jerms?
We finally here, James. We finally at the thing that made me stop reading the series.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't think that would be your answer, but okay. Talk to me about it.
Okay, James. Well, what are your thoughts on Deku having 8 quirks now? What are your thoughts?
Okay. So, yeah, I guess that was my question. So, I'm an anime only. I'm new to this shit. So there were 7 before him, correct? And he is going to obtain... So, he got All Might's power, right? Does All Might have a specific one that's different than just...
No, he just has the same from what we know. He just has the same, just power.
Okay, so then isn't he gonna get 6 more? I guess I don't know.
He gets a lot of ass pulls.
Okay, so yeah, that was. I thought. Okay, first of all, let me just say this. I thought it was a great episode, but when the scene happened, where the first user is explaining, like, yeah, you're gonna get like all our powers. I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't know how to think about it, I guess is my answer. There's not really much build up to it. We don't know much about the previous users, and now Deku is just gonna get all their powers. I mean, I was under the assumption that One for All was just like, incredible super strength. Yeah, and every time it got passed down, the next user would gain even more power. But I didn't know or even consider specific powers in there. I mean, if Deku is going to gain powers, doesn't this kind of feel like All for One at this point? Because All for One has a bunch of different abilities. And now if Deku is going to have a bunch of different abilities, it just kind of feels like... What's the difference between the two? You know what I mean? Like, I thought the superhero of the show was just going to have a super strength. He was going to go up against, All for One, however that gets passed down or whatever. So strength versus a bunch of different quirks, and that was going to be the big battle. But I guess not. I guess Deku's going to have more quirks. I don't know. So this pissed you off, Jerms?
Yes. Well, because now the thing is, everyone else, not a single other person, low tier character. Oh, you have like 1 quirk. Oh, you have hot and ice. Okay, I guess that's technically almost 2. Okay, yeah, that's cool. You have 2 quirks. Oh, I got 8 of them. Oh, Bakugo, it makes explosions. Well, I can I have whips. I can super strength. I get I don't want to say what else he has, but he has 6 other ones. So now he's like, Deku's not even on the same league as anyone else anymore, and the only way to nerf him is just all for one.
Yeah, but that's what I thought. That's what I thought was going to be the counterbalance. You know what I mean? Because you know how like usually the villain in a show has like a stronger ability or an ability that counteracts the hero's ability. That's what I thought All for One was perfect, right? Because Deku's was a very simplistic but very strong quirk, and then you have All for One, which is the yin and yang of it, right? You have 1 quirk versus like all the quirks, and now it seems like that's not going to be the case. The quirk shown off in this episode was black whips. I mean, I know that Deku doesn't have a hold of it yet, but what was that? I mean, I don't know, man. I guess the more I think about it, I wish that they would have just stuck to the original concept, because now adding in different... it's one thing if we get a backstory on all the previous users and we get to see their quirks, and then like we build up to like
gaining
Deku Deku like slowly...
Deserving it.
Yeah, like you know, because Deku he wasn't even born with the quirk, and then he gets handed down this quirk, and like now it's gonna be like overpowered, right? Like if we slowly got to see, not just in season 5, in the previous seasons, Deku realizes, oh, like every once in a while I get these whips, or oh, every once in a while I get this, every once in a while I see some of this, like
now you control it.
Yeah, if we slowly build up to it, it would kind of make sense, but it just seems like he had a vision, and now he's just going to get all these quirks, and it just feels like there was no real setup to it, and I think that's the big miss for me. Would you agree with that, Jerms?
And the main thing I'm really mad about is now he has 6 ass pulls. Like anytime anyone's about to get like got him on the ropes, it's like, oh, you know, I'll just activate another quirk that I didn't. The perfect counter to this situation. And that's what really pissed me off. And you know, and also another thing that really pissed me off with this is, you know, there's just tons of piss me offs with this, just this one thing. Because you know, for me, the main thing about Boku no Hero and Deku's story was, you know, he worked hard and earned, you know, what he got. You know, he trained all those months, you know, for all this. You know, he's been training in his body and all this kind of stuff for months. You know, to be able to fully realize the quirk. And now he doesn't have to even work for it. You know, he kind of just, you know, gets like 6, 7 more, you know, for free, just because. No, like he probably do a little bit of training to, you know, to understand how to use the quirk, but he's probably just gonna be able to just use them all, not even have to even worry about it. There's no limit. It's not like he can only use one at the same time. It seems like. So it's just like, yeah, I can use them all at once. You know, I can, you know, use whips. I can super strength. You know, then he has 6 other ass pulls whenever any other fight comes up. Oh, look, I activated. You know, like I can now like teleport, or I can, you know, counter your ability. So it's just like, that's what really pissed me off about this, and that's why I originally, when I saw this chapter, I stopped reading. I'm like, they ruined Deku's character for me.
I know, I can totally understand why you would do that. Like that's almost going back on a promise with the story. You know what I mean? I mean, that's kind of just disregarding the whole premise. You know, it's almost like, you know, it reminds me of the new Sharingan. You know what I mean? Like you first learn about the Sharingan, it's like, okay, like. You can read hand movements really well. You know, with Kakashi, you can copy jutsu. And then you kind of get into Shippuden, and it's like, oh, you could do all this other crazy well, even with Itachi, when you learn about Itachi and stuff, with Amaterasu and stuff. But, you know, it's like, oh, you have all these other things, and it just becomes overpowered. I think that's what I'm mainly concerned about. I think it's going to be overpowered, and it does kill. Easily. It does kill what I thought would be the grand finale, whether he fights Shigaraki or whoever he fights. You know, one for all being super strength, all for one being all these quirks that Deku is going to have to, find a way to overcome, you know, because he's the underdog. He's always been the underdog. You know, one quirk versus all the quirks, and that is no longer the case. That is simply off the table. So... yeah, I mean, not much. I mean, I thought it was a good episode, but the realization of this is going to take the story in a completely different path. So, yeah, final thoughts for this week's episode, Jerms. Anything else you want to say about it?
Every other character is now useless. That's basically it for me. That's all for me.
Yeah,
you can technically do things, but compared to Deku, it's like you're not even the same league, not even close.
And honestly, it already felt like that with the super strength. It already felt like Deku had a big advantage over people. Now this is going to put him like way over the edge, right? Like at least with Todoroki, he gets like the fire from his father and the ice from his mother, right? So like
makes sense,
right? So like it kind of makes sense. Like it's kind of explained that he has two, but yeah. And with All for One, it makes sense that it's all of them because that's the evil villain. That's the ultimate. The final boss that he has to overcome. With Deku, he was already feeling a little bit overpowered, and it, you know, All Might kind of gave him his quirk, and so now it's just gonna go off the rails. But yeah, what did you guys think of this week's episode of Boku no Hero? Comment down below. Are you guys enjoying this new aspect to the story, or what are you guys thinking about it? All right, let's get on with the weekly roundup. Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro, episode 8. What did you think, Jerms?
Oh, good stuff. You know already know how it is. The horse riding scene when she was on his back for his physical training, fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, just just overall the feel good vibes. The feel good vibes were everywhere there. You know, when he was carrying her on his back and all that stuff when he was carrying the bags, just felt good. Just felt good, you know. And then the you know, then when the bathroom scene,
Oh
you know,
yes,
the spice, you know, it'd be.
The second half of the episode.
Just overall, a great episode for me, as always. Exactly what I'm expecting. So I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, I felt that this week was a little bit of a slower episode as compared to the last like 2 or 3 episodes. But I got to tell you, and you know, we've been hyping up the show a lot. But even for a slow episode, this was still good, honestly. The first half, you know, Senpai, you know, studying a lot because he doesn't want to repeat a grade. Okay. You know, Nagatoro riding on him like a horse. You know, okay. It was decent. Not as great as the past few episodes, but it was decent. I'm still here for it. That second half, though, man. So good. And you know, with Nagatoro, you always expect it to go one way, and it kind of goes that way, but then there's always like a little twist at the end, right? So she's in the bath, and she's egging him on, right? And you know, he sees her footage, right? Her camera's on. I thought that it was going to be intentional, like, haha, like I'm teasing you, right? But again, with Nagatoro, it's always kind of what you expect, right? But then there's always a twist. She didn't, you know, intend for the camera to be on. So now she's flustered. And that's where I think I really like the show. Yes, she's picking on him a lot, but there's also moments where she gets flustered. You know, both of them are always blushing. I feel like half the show they're blushing. Like, you always have that red in their cheeks. And yeah, not a very eventful episode, but even on a slower episode like this, it still delivers. This is the real test of a series. Not the good episodes, but the slower episodes. And if it's still good on the slower episodes, you know you got a good show on your hands. And yeah, like you, still digging it, still enjoying it. Yeah, final thoughts for this week's episode, Jerms. Anything else you want to talk about with it?
Oh, good episode. I don't know what's happening after this in the manga, but hopefully, you know, there's maybe a little arc or something in these last few episodes. Maybe not. I don't remember. It's been a long while, but you know, that's the only thing I would want. A little bit more of a longer story than, you know, half an episode or quarter episode. You know.
Yeah. This is where you caught up in the manga.
No, I'm caught up way. It's been a while since I read it, so I don't remember exactly. What's going on after.
Yeah, it would be nice if these last couple episodes have a nice little arc to wrap it up. So yeah, what did you guys think of this week's episode of Nagatoro? We here on the Weeb Retreat are really hyping it up. We're really enjoying this show. A little bit of a slower episode this week, but we're not complaining. We're really enjoying it. Comment down below. What did you guys think this week? All right, moving along on the roundup. We got Tokyo Revengers, episode 8. What did you think of this week's episode, Jerms?
Well, from the beginning, it started off different than I was expecting. Because, you know,
yes.
I expected a little bit more serious. Here you go.
Yes. Can I say something about that real quick before you go ham on the episode? Yeah, so I couldn't believe this, dude. Last week, right? It's very comedic. He got his Game Boy, his bike, his bat, all types of stuff being thrown in the air. He breaks up the two. And this week, he like breaks down and it's all serious. You know, I couldn't help but think if you're marathoning the show and you're not watching it weekly, if you go from that episode to this episode, that's going to be a very weird tonal shift. But yeah, I don't know, man. I really wasn't digging that. But yeah, sorry to interrupt. Let's get on with the episode. But I was not digging that intro and how it, you know, totally different than last week's. But that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah, and then then when he like goes into the trash can, he has like a shit on his head, and it was just like, what is going? It's like, okay, like it was a little bit more serious, and now it's more comedic, and so,
then
like,
it goes back to it. Yeah, I don't know, man. That was kind of weird for me.
We're getting some whiplash here with the motion, and then the whole rest of the episode's like a lot more serious. You know, him going on a date with Hina, and oh, I was totally wrong. I thought it was Mikey's girlfriend, but I guess it was Draken's. I was completely wrong on that, but. Going on that, like, Yeah, so them going on that little date, and then when it starts raining, and the little bit of spice that's about to happen, then he gets his phone call. It's like, oh fuck me. But and then he goes to see the other gang, and they're kind of more serious, like, oh yeah, we're gonna go just kill Drac. And it's like, fuck. I didn't.
August 3rd. August 3rd.
So, and then him getting shit beat out of him, and then him just getting duct taped. I'm like, fuck, our boy. He don't deserve this. He's just trying his best. But then that moment with him and Hina there, oh, so good, so good, so good.
Yeah, I think there was a lot to talk about with this episode. I mean, there was a lot of different scenes, a lot of stuff moving along with the story. So, yeah, very weird intro in my opinion. I didn't like that they had shit on his head. Like, it's just weird. Like, I'm taking it seriously, but then you have moments like that, and it kind of pulls me out of the story, you know. But whatever. August 3rd comes around. He goes with Hina to the festival. Dude, I thought that was good. Every time Hina's on the screen, man, I'm a Hina fanboy at this point. I love Hina. Hina is such a great counterbalance to Takemichi. I mean, that is the perfect quintessential duo right there, right? Like the hothead idiot that's always getting in trouble, and then the girl who's always by his side, sticking with him through thick and thin, you know. The beautiful Hina. So yeah, they go to the festival. I thought it was great, you know, them doing the little shooting contest. One thing I really appreciated about this episode was you brought her up, Emma, Draken's girl. I like that Hina finally brought it up again. Like, oh, you cheated. Like, I'm still not letting you off for that. I thought that was so funny. And then, because you have to remember, they're in middle school, right? So it kind of makes sense if you take into consideration their age. She's like, yeah, I'll forgive you if you go beat me at this contest, right? For adults, that might seem like ridiculous, but, you know, they're in middle school. Like, that's cute. That's really fun. You know, I love seeing little cutesy date type of stuff like that, right? But then, you know, it rains, you know, he's about to kiss her in the rain. The classic cliche of they're about to kiss and they don't. He gets the call, and this is where I thought the show would go, right? Because it seems that he changed the events that were going to happen on August 3rd, right? And a lot of time traveling shows do this. But really, even though he changed one thing, like, fate is still fate. Like, certain things are still going to try and occur, even if you change smaller things, right? If that makes sense. So as soon as he got the call, I'm like, oh shit. Like, it's not, he didn't change everything. Like, something's going to go down. And we get Kiyomasa, the dude from earlier in the season. I think he's, you know, very fun to watch him. Man, they beat the shit out of our boy, didn't they, though? Jerms.
Did him dirty.
They did him dirty. And you know what was really sad? Another great moment of the episode is he's like, I thought that I had gained the courage to stand up, and I thought I was a badass, but really that's just because I've been hanging out with Mikey and Draken. Like, I'm still you know, a wuss at heart or whatever, you know, like that hit me hard. When I saw that, I was like, ooh, you know, because that sucks, you know. And then I mean, and then Hina finds him, you know, helps him.
Beautiful moment.
Beautiful. Finally the kiss. The Spider-Man kiss. She kisses him upside down, kind of. He's laying down. Like a 5 out of 5 episode for me, man. I didn't really like the beginning, whatever. That's just a little tonal thing that's kind of weird to me, but so much happened. Good stuff, man. This reminds me why we like Tokyo Revengers. Just good stuff all around. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no need for flashy animation and all that. You just need a good story, good characters. That's all you really need. You know, the animation wasn't. It was good. It just wasn't. You know, there's no crazy special effects or all that kind of shit. You know.
Yeah, I always describe it as decent. You know, the frames aren't the best, the drawings aren't the best, but again, it's okay. The characters, the story are so good that I don't mind. You know, if this animation was on like a show that didn't have as strong characters and story, it would kind of suck. But again, it's I'm so hooked into Hina, and I just don't care. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was good stuff. You thought it was good stuff. Final thoughts for this week's Tokyo Revengers episode, Jerms?
Good stuff. Good stuff. I don't know how our boy's gonna save Draken from this one, but we'll see. We'll see. Because that one guy showed up at the end.
Yeah.
That was showed with Draken and his girl. So I don't know what's gonna happen there. Maybe Takemichi will yell at him.
Oh.
So there's gonna be some spice here. There's gonna be some spice next episode. That's for sure.
Yeah, the dude that got sent to jail, right? They bailed him out, I guess, and he's going to get revenge. So that's one thing I thought, I kind of expected the show to do that, where, yeah, he's going back to change the events of the past. But even if you change slight things, time is still going to happen. Things are still going to happen. Fate is still going to have its upper hand at the end of the day. All right, so what did you guys think of Tokyo Revengers? Are you guys enjoying the series like we are? We thought that this was a banger of an episode. Comment down below if you guys are enjoying it like we are. All right, let's get on to this week's episode of 86, episode 8. What did you think of this week's episode, Jerms?
Oh, man, this doesn't feel like an episode 8. This kind of like... I feel like we've been kind of getting the same episode for like the past 4 episodes. It's kind of.
I totally disagree with you, but keep going.
Okay. Because for me, it feels like we've been watching the same episode for 4 episodes. Oh, she can't do anything to help him. All that kind of stuff. She tries to help him. She goes to the army guy.
Yeah.
Nope. Can't do nothing. Yeah. Okay, she's sad. She's mad. Okay, this time, she talked to her friend, and that was kind of spicy. There, that was the one that was the one difference of the episode, really, of just her talking to her friend and her, giving her story and all that kind of stuff. But this doesn't feel like an episode 8. This should be like an episode 5, maybe. I don't even know what's even possibility for the rest of the series. So I'm kind of losing interest in the show.
And it is 11, so
3 episodes left. I don't know. I don't even know.
Okay, season 2 is announced. Just so the folks at home know that. All right, let me explain why I somewhat disagree, and I think a lot actually happened this episode. So you brought it up. Her name is Penrose. The names are weird in the series. Henrietta Von Penrose. Anyways, the friend. If people are watching, they know who I'm talking about. That was huge. That was way different, Jerms. I mean, that
I know.
Not only did she lose that friendship, and that friend went bonkers on her, but she also explained the history of the 86 and the gear. She explained her father's history. I mean, she went really deep into it, and we got
how much history are we gonna keep getting without anything actually happening? It's just might as well read a book.
I know, and these are adapted. The show is adapted from light novels, so I'm aware. There's a lot of exposition here. There really is.
8 episodes.
I said this a couple weeks ago. There's character-driven stories and there's plot-driven stories. This is very much a plot-driven story. It's all about the story. We're getting a lot of exposition. But yes, that sucked. But we do know where the season is going to end off at least. We're going to get Shin. I think his name is Shin. Again, I'm really not good with the name. The Reaper, right? The leader of the 86 unit. He's going to go fight his brother. I don't know if... I mean, that was kind of hinted at as a robot, yeah. It was kind of hinted at in previous episodes, but I think now we at least know, okay, that's where they're going to go these last 3 episodes. Again, is it where I want the series to be at? No. I still want to know what Lena's involvement is going to be. How is she going to help them? Is she going to help them escape? I think she is probably going to help them escape, or maybe reform the government. I don't know where the story can go, but yeah. At least we know where the season's going to end off. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would definitely agree on that right there.
So yeah, for me, I know that it was a slow episode. I know that, yeah, there's a lot of exposition. It's a little bit slow for our taste. This is a slow burner, but I'm just happy that we at least know where these final 3 episodes are going to go. That it's going to be Shin versus his brother, and you just know that next episode we'll get even more of a backstory between them, right? Because the show loves the info dumps. And yeah, hopefully next season is more not as slow, but we'll see how these last three end, and we'll go from there, I guess. But I actually thought that there was some developments this week. Not a ton, I guess, but I was pleasantly surprised with it. Better than the last 2 weeks, I would say. But that's just my take. Yeah. What would you say to that, Jerms?
Yeah, like since there's only 11 episodes, I'm a little disappointed with this series for how long and how much just lore dumps without really much going on. And what's been going on, like the past few episodes, kind of feel like the same episodes. Someone dies. Oh, I'm sad. We're replaceable. All this blah blah blah. She goes to the army guy. I feel like for me. I feel like the same episodes over and over again. Like I'm in Twilight Zone. But that's just me. We did get a little bit, new with her friend. But I feel like one little thing an episode for me isn't enough to keep me super interested. But that's just my thoughts. I like to monkey brain on this.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I watching it too. I do feel like it's a more refined, a more sophisticated show, and maybe I'm not getting it too, but I think we're getting it. I think it's just a little bit of a slow burner. Again, it's everything that we've known, but just a little bit heightened. When she went to the commander dude, he was like, yeah, like we want the 86 to die. We do it because if we give them their freedoms, then they'll tell the public how we treated them, and we can't let that get out. Her friend basically said, don't show your face around here anymore. Explain the gear. It's everything that's been built up, but just heightened a little bit. I guess the only real new revelation, besides some of that backstory with her friend, was the, Shin and his brother. But even that has kind of been teased a little bit. We'll see where it goes. What are you guys thinking of 86? We know it's very popular right now. If you've read the light novel, I bet that you love it. Everyone hyped up this show. Everyone said that this is like the best light novel series ever. Maybe it's just a slow season. We don't know. Comment down below. Are you guys enjoying it? Was it a little bit slow for you? Let us know. All right, but let's get into a show that is definitely not slow at all. Megalo Box, Season 2, Episode 9. What did you think of this week's episode, Jerms?
Well, there was for me, I felt like there was a lot going on here. A lot of back and forth with the different characters and their perspective of what's going on and all that kind of stuff. We had we had moments with Joe, moments with Sachio, and when he was fighting. Then there's moments with the lady, and then the lady with her talking to the other scientist guy, and just tons and Yuri and all that. It felt like there was just a lot of going on, a lot of.
And the new fighter, what's his name? Pac, I think it is. Mac
time.
We got Mac time. We got some moments with Mac as well. This episode really showed us that like they've kind of built up a world here. Like they'd go from this scene to this scene to this scene, and it's like, wow, like we really have a lot of characters in this Megalo Box universe at this point. You know what I mean? Like it's not just a simplistic story that's following Joe. Like we have different factions, and yeah, definitely interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think overall there was a lot of interesting stuff going on. I wonder how the story's gonna go. If I'm guessing Joe and versus Mac is really gonna be the rest of the series here, and maybe Joe training and talking to Mac maybe and seeing. It seems like they have a kind of a connection in a kind of similar way. Yeah. So, that's how I imagine the rest of the series is gonna go. It seems like not too bad of an ending here that we got. So. Oh, not super excited, not super hyped. I wish we could see more and more of the
Are you losing hype?
Not losing hype, but not building hype.
For sure, I would agree with that.
So that's my thoughts on the series. Maybe we could get some hype with Joe getting back in the ring and training with Sachio and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a little late.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. For me, it's just no problem. I feel like Sachio is just gotta fucking just grow up or something, man. Like, I get it.
I know. He's getting annoying, dude. He's getting annoying. He's definitely getting annoying at this
He's
point.
just an edgy teenager. Like, I get it. He's an edgy teenager, but like, how many episodes can he be an edgy teenager without, talking to Joe and all this? His friends, all his friends, everyone, all cool and everything. It's just Sachio is just being an edgy teen, fighting in the Megalonia ring. So hopefully, he's like, okay, maybe I'll train with Joe. Maybe see his, maybe fighting against. Maybe they'll have a little bout, 1v1 versus them, and Sachio seeing, Joe still got it, Well, hopefully. So
when they were at the gravesite and Sachio hit him, I was like, "You little bitch, dude!" That like I understand the character's motivation and good stories. The character's motivations are very apparent, which is good, but it is becoming annoying at this point. And I know that he's meant to be the annoying kid, but as a viewer, it is getting annoying. Like, dude, get over it. Here's the thing, Jerms. We have 4 episodes left. I highly doubt they do a 3rd season. This isn't really that big in the ratings. I was surprised it even got a 2nd season. If they're leading up to Joe versus Mac, which they definitely allude to at the end of the episode, the newspapers read that like Mac calls out his, the first Megalonia winner, Joe. Is 4 episodes enough for the audience to get used to Joe being back in the ring? Because Joe has not been back in the ring at all this season, right? So
Except are they fights?
True, but even then, not at the level he was in season 1. So if they expect that we're just kind of like, they have to really do something to convince us that he still has it. Because if they're just like, yeah, Joe's gonna fight him for the finale, it's like, okay, but he hasn't been fighting. Like they have to build up to it a little bit. They haven't been doing that at all this season. Joe has not been active this season. I thought the fight between Mac and Lou, the previous episode or 2 episodes ago, was very good, but it does kind of suck that maybe like Lou doesn't look like he's going to recover, so we're not going to get that fight between him and Joe. And yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. The hype isn't building for me, right? Like it's not. I don't know, man. We got spoiled with that first half of the season with, Chief and all of them. I thought that was such a good storyline, and then they just like drop it. And now he's gonna fight Mac, I guess, but there's no buildup. Like, do they have a personal connection? Not really.
No connection.
What's the connection? That they're both excellent fighters that are Megalonia winners? Okay, but where's the grudge? Like, if Joe had to beat Mac, and that would give him enough money to get the land back for that family. Okay, there's some real motivation there, but what's the motivation here to get what's the motivation here to get revenge for Lou? It's a very interesting change in narrative. But one thing I will say that was fantastic this episode was the story of the hummingbird. I thought that was so good. That is definitely reminiscent of the Chief stuff. Definitely reminiscent of the whole season, right? Sort of a Spanish style vibes. Folktale, fairy tale, whatever. Talks about a hummingbird. Talks about a lost person. Obviously, we know that's
Nomad. Joe.
Symbolic of Joe, the nomad. And that the moral of the story is that he thinks he's lost everything, but he hasn't actually lost everything, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, man. With how many episodes are left? 4. I'm just curious to where they go. It was another slow episode. They can't give us another slow episode. We need to ramp up to a nice, great finale. And yeah, I don't see Mac and Joe being a convincing, competitive, intriguing fight, but maybe it will be. I don't know. What are you thinking, Jerms?
Yeah, I think with 4 episodes, maybe we can get something. We had the whole Chief thing in 4 episodes, so I think if they start really going just focusing on just Mac and Joe. I think they can do. I think they got enough
Was
set up
that
with all the other Mac and
was that
Joe.
all 4 episodes? The chief stuff, that was only 4?
I think so.
More shit happened in those 4 episodes than has happened since, honestly.
Mhm.
Just my opinion. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think if they stop focusing, I think they've already shown enough of all the other characters. With Science Girls doing, with other science guys doing. I think we've seen enough of all those kind of little side character moments. So I think we gotta just get down to basics and just focus on Joe and Mac and their fight here. No, all this other bullshit and all these other characters to really worry about. Just maybe a little bit, a little bit, but not the main focus. We
Yeah.
need to get back to the main focus of the main character, Joe. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's a lot of side plots going on right now, and there's no big central plot going on right now. And I think that's the big detriment of the show. You have Joe's beef with Sachio. You have Joe trying to rebuild nowhere. You have Mac, on these drugs, and he's kind of living with the effects of them. You have Lou in the hospital, and he wants to fight Joe, but he's probably never going to get that chance. You have the I don't know their names. They're such side characters, but the mechanic, the kid, yeah, you kind of have their relationship. A lot of side stuff going on, not enough main stuff going on. Next episode, we need to set up the big Megalonia fight, if that's where it goes. We need something. We need some movement. Very kind of similar to 86. 86 kind of set it up in this week's episode with the brothers battle, it looks like. But we need something to build up to a nice finale here. But yeah, slow past couple episodes, I'm not going to lie. The hummingbird story I thought was fantastic, but yeah, something like that's only going to get you so far. All right, guys, what did you guys think of this week's episode of Megalo Box? Are you guys even watching it? It's not even that big in the rankings. We love it, but that's just our personal taste. Comment down below. What are you guys thinking of the series? All right. Before we get into the weekly discussion, what is your episode of the week, Jerms?
This is a real close one this week, Mr. James. A real close
Agreed.
one. Real close one here. I think
it's Boku No Hero. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
The fangirl's wish.
Yes.
Thinking about it, from feeling wise and the actual structure of the episode wise, I think the king's been dethroned for this week. Unfortunately, I'm gonna give it to the Tokyo Revengers this week for the first time. Nagatoro didn't win, but it was a close second.
Yeah, and I think the viewers are gonna think that we're lame because every single week we agree. There's nothing that you said that I disagree with. Nagatoro is a close second, but because so much happened in Tokyo Revengers, so many great moments, it definitely beats Nagatoro this week. I would say Nagatoro is a close second. I don't think anything else really shines as episode of the week for me.
Yeah,
maybe what?
Megalo was nice, but it didn't really shine. Like how Revengers and Nagatoro is.
Yeah,
it's good, but it's just not like that tier, that next tier above. If I go over all the other shows, then we can maybe have a discussion here. But with just these ones, these Nagatoro and Tokyo Revengers are the good episodes of the really nice episodes of this week.
Yeah, and I think, I really like the symbolic stuff with Megalo Box, but it doesn't push it over the edge for me. I really like the bath scene with Nagatoro, but it doesn't push it over the edge for me. Tokyo Revengers, man. The moments with Hina, the way the story's progressing, all good stuff. That is going to be our episode of the week. What is your episode of the week? Comment down below. We'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. All right, now let's get into the discussion of the week. Jerms, you finally caught up with an anime. What anime did you catch up with?
One Direct Priority, baby. Oh, it's been so long. And such the irony of it, of me finishing it last after. Because I was originally watched it first and told James to watch it, and then he beat me to it.
That's true. That's true. You were like, "You have to watch this." I was like, "Do I have to?" You're like, "Yes, you have to watch it." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I have to watch it." So I watched it last season. This premiered last season. This is an anime original done by Cloverworks, correct? Yeah, Cloverworks. Yeah, you finally caught up. Took a little break there for a little bit. You picked up on episode 8, which is the infamous recap episode. For only 12 episodes, people were not happy about there being a recap episode. We'll get into that. And yeah, so you finished it, you completed it. Here is going to be our review of Wonder Egg Priority. Take it away, Jerms. What did you think overall of the series now that you have finished it?
Whew, what a series, man. What a series. I feel like every episode really had me on, like, there's just so many twists and turns with every episode, and the characters were absolutely fantastic. Loved every single one of the main girls here. Absolute angels. And
Yep.
then after, because I already seen the first like 7 episodes, and you were like, you don't, Germs, you don't even know what the crazy spice. Because I was like, oh, this
You
shit's
don't even
crazy.
know.
And you were absolutely correct. Absolutely, like things were just being thrown, aliens, and maybe it were alternate timelines, AI, all this other crazy shit. And it's like, oh my, and that's like, and like, oh yeah, and the girls are just like, let's go talk to our friend, and we're having a dinner, little tea date. And it's like, don't need Akka and Naraka being like puppets thrown in thick. Like I don't even care, and they just start going on the dinner like a little tea date, and it's like, oh my god.
Yep.
So many crazy things. The crazy backstory, with Frill and Naraka, their story absolutely spicy and so much spice and so many every single one of the eggs and stuff with all their different stories. Absolutely, a lot of heart tugging stuff there. And the game and all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff thrown here. Oh my gosh. My brain was filled absolutely. If like I was watching, like with Cowboy Bebop after an episode, I'll be like, "Ooh, I've seen so much in one episode. I don't even know how much I can continue." So luckily, I only had like 4 episodes to watch at the end there. But what an absolute ride of a series that is! Especially didn't even know anything about it, just went right into it and absolutely blown away with the spice. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, thank you for recommending it to me. Yeah, so I finished this a while ago, so it's not as fresh in my mind as yours, but I gotta tell you, this is a modern day masterpiece. I genuinely believe that. I don't typically like little girl magical show anime, whatever you want to call them, but this is fantastic. And yeah, let me explain why. I think, I think Madoka Magica paved the way for this show. This is the 2021 version of Madoka Magica, and let me explain why. Yes, they're not traditional magical girls, and they they have a new costume and stuff like that. But if you think about it, they're very similar, right? It's a group of 4 girls. I guess with Madoka, there's like it ends up being 5, but like originally it was like 4, right? So there's a group of 4 girls. They're young, I guess like middle school, right? They sort of escape into another world where they fight monsters, right? In Madoka, it was witches, and here they're, fighting against the eggs and all that stuff. The monsters are very colorful, very, just a very creative storyline, very, but it's also dark and twisted, and it just gives me Madoka vibes. And honestly, no disrespect, Madoka revolutionized a genre. Madoka, turned the magical girl genre on its head, and for that, it'll always have a place in anime history. But I personally like Wonder Egg more because it's just a refined version, in my opinion. A little bit less convoluted without all of the time traveling and all that stuff. Not to compare the 2 shows, but the only point that I want to make is that without Madoka, I don't think that this show would exist. Like Madoka is the architect, the blueprint, and this is the 2021 version of it. It took it to another level. I would say in some places this was even darker, more twisted. Um, the writing was fantastic in the show. You know, there was a little bit of like gender bending with that one girl. There was, you know, all the girls have a connection to like suicide, right? They all have a reason that they're fighting in this world to get back their loved ones, and then they kind of find out that that's a farce, and all types of stuff with the show, man. Like the animation alone is beautiful. The action was fantastic. I saw some people bagging on the action. I think you're crazy. I think that you're an elitist if you're bagging on this action, especially that last episode. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful, beautiful episode. It's psychedelic too. It just has so many flavors all in one. It's just a creative show. It's a show that, you know, I've seen, I guess, compared to some people, not a lot of anime, but I've seen my fair share of shows, right? I mean, I know what I'm talking about. I got to tell you, I'm not going to forget one. You know, I forget a lot of series, you know? There's a lot, especially these days, there's a lot of new shows coming out. Wonder Egg Priority is one show that I don't think I'm ever going to forget. It's always going to be there. It's an extremely memorable show, and I think it's a modern day masterpiece, and that is my opinion of the show. So yeah. What else you got? Do you have anything to add to that, Jerms?
Well, I think really the main thing with this show is the characters. You know, the show would be
So
nothing
good.
it'd be nothing without these characters. And her whole journey, and like especially in those last few episodes when you saw the alternate version of her where she did kill herself
Yes.
and without her friend, and
Yeah.
seeing, you know, her you know, her improvements and everything. It was just absolutely fantastic. You know, there was no damsels in distress here. They were all strong, you know, strong people. You know, it doesn't matter if this was a boys show or a girls show. They're fantastic characters, absolutely well written. Especially like Momo's character, the girl that looks like a boy, and you know, getting that other side where that, you know, where that girl has, you know, inside they're a boy and all that. What a crazy arc that was there, little arc that was there. And, you know,
And can I just say one thing real quick? It didn't feel forced. It just felt natural. It fit the vibe, would you say, right? It fit the dark sort of dramatic theme of the show, that all these girls are kind of going through their own personal demons and their own personal struggles, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, I would definitely agree, because, you know, we had Rika and her with her mom, and that whole little arc where she almost gave in, and, you know, her friends were there, and I feel like every girl really had. I mean, maybe not Nero as much, that the dark skinned girl. Yeah, she didn't have as much as an impact as like with Rika and Momo and Eyes, their arcs there, but it was absolutely fantastic seeing, you know, Momo's character improve from that, and, you know, Rika and it's just absolutely fantastic way, and it felt so natural. There was no agenda here. They weren't trying to like force this kind of stuff. It felt so natural and so well written. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and it deals with a lot of themes that could be very forced, right? Like suicide, idol worship with Rika.
You know,
it almost seemed like it hinted, the gender, non-conforming gender identity. It almost felt like with what's the teacher? Like one of the episodes left off where it almost seems like she had an affection for the teacher. I remember like her friends were kind of like, "Oh, do you like him?" Like just so many interesting routes that this show went down. And again, the characters and the writing were fantastic for the show. I'm so sad that we're not going to get a season 2 of this, Germs, but we are going to get a special. It's going to officially conclude the series. This was supposed to be concluded within 12 episodes. You know, we talked about it before with our review of The Promised Neverland. We will link that up here. Cloverworks had issues on production. That's why we had a recap episode. That's why everybody hated the recap episode. You know, for 12 episodes, it's not the best thing ever, but whatever. I thought it was still a solid recap episode. Yeah, we are going to get a conclusion to this in the summer. We're going to get a special. Hopefully it runs longer than a normal episode, so they can really.
I really hope so.
Yeah, hopefully it's not just a normal episode runtime. They can really flesh out the story. what's the new character's name? Frill.
Mm-hmm.
She is, man, what a main antagonist. What a main villain to have in your series. You know what I mean? Like, you assume that's going to be the big battle or whatever at the end there. I mean, and it was just really a labor of love. You could tell the people working on this really loved it. They apologized profusely for not, the staff members. They apologized for not being able to get it out, finish it on time, and they've said that they're gonna do it justice with this special that we're gonna get in the summer. What a great show, man! What a masterpiece, in my opinion. Just not a single bad episode. Not a single bad episode. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely, and just the way the pacing and the structure of the episode felt so fantastic. It felt like there was a lot of twists and like moments that just hit you like a truck, and then another truck comes in and hits you in the side as well, and you rise, you're like dazed. And the timing felt just perfect. It felt like they knew when to stop hitting you with trucks and let you relax a little bit. But oh, just absolutely great time. Once you start picking this up, you're not gonna want to put it down unless you're me and I just
Binger. This is a real binger, and I completed it when it was all the way out. It was completed. Man, what a bingeable show, man! What a bingeable show. I think I'm going to rewatch it before the special. That's how much I like it. I usually don't rewatch a lot of stuff, but just to be fresh, like, I think I'm actually going to rewatch it again, just because I love it that much. I mean, it was such a fun ride. Yeah, so let's wrap this up. Final thoughts, Jerms. Anything to add for this review?
It's absolutely fantastic. You haven't seen it yet, just watch it. There's so many great stories and thought provoking things in here without being forced at anyway. It felt so writing and characters. You're gonna love all the characters here.
Yeah, and we kept the spoiler free. I mean, we did talk about a lot of themes and stuff like that, but I think for the most part, if you watch this and you haven't seen
The
it yet,
stories.
we haven't really spoiled anything. Especially the last couple episodes there. Wow, a bunch of major developments. We're not even going into that. So, if you have not seen Wonder Egg Priority, we tend to agree a lot here. We disagree sometimes, but we tend to agree a lot here. I think it's safe to say that the Weeb Retreat highly recommends this, and please go check it out.
I don't know. I don't think we got any awards or anything, but that would get a gold sticker right there.
If this came out in 2020, because 2020 was a little bit of a slower year with the pandemic, and not as great shows coming out. Dude, if this came out in 2020, this would have easily been my anime of the year. This year is crazy. We're getting quality shows left and right. I don't know if it's going to be my anime of the year, but it's definitely in the running. It's definitely in the running. It's hard to compete with shows like Kaizen and Attack on Titan and just all the Mushoku Tensei.
Cowboys.
This year is crazy. In any normal year, this would absolutely be anime of the year. I can't say that it's the front runner so far because there's just been so much good stuff this year. But man, on any normal year, this would have been an anime of the year. All right, let's give it our approval. Let's give it out of 5. How many stars are you going to give it out of 5?
5 stars. You already know how to be. Not even a question.
Yeah, not even a question. Such good stuff. Check it out, guys. Have you checked it out? Comment down below. Have we hyped you guys up to go check it out? Please, if I haven't said it already, go check it out. So for this week's weekly discussion, we're going to talk about the popularity of anime, but not specifically the medium. What makes certain shows popular within the fandom, right? So we're not talking about outside the fandom, people getting into anime. We're talking about the weebs, the established weebs, the people like us. We're already watching anime. What makes a show so popular? What makes certain fans love a show more than other shows? So that's the question. You want to take it from there, Jerms?
Yeah. So, with the popularity of your show, there's so many different little factors that could be going on, just like the character, the series behind it, like something like ReZero's gonna be super popular, because everyone already knows it's good. Demon Slayer was a kind of like totally out of nowhere how it became so popular. It's a new shonen. And just the way it did it was so fantastic, and then the hype and that everyone was building up each episode. That's what really built up its popularity. And then, and then Attack on Titan, everyone already knows the previous seasons were so good. So, it was able to get a lot of hype over and over again. and it's really interesting to see how some shows become popular and some shows just totally fall flat on their face somehow.
Totally. Yeah.
You look at it and you're like, oh, this should be a totally popular show, and then you start watching and like, oh, no one's watching this for some reason, even though it's like highly rated. Might like a highly rated show doesn't equal a popular show. That's just how it is with it.
Correct.
So we're gonna go through all this list, and we're gonna see a lot of shows. We're gonna be like, wow, this was like a totally like top tier. Like this is like a 10 out of 10 show for me, and it's all the way at the bottom of the list for some reason, and no one's watching
Yes.
it.
Yeah. So we're gonna go seasonally according to Reddit rankings of people that watch anime and people voting on their favorite episodes per week and stuff like that. And we're gonna go back all the way to fall 2018, and we're gonna see where the popular anime, where it's shifted, where it's going. For me, I think there's a lot of isekai, and I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff. I think another thing, like the manga, I think if a manga is very hyped, it gets adapted into an anime, it already has that built-in fan base that's already converted into the anime watchers, so it has that going for it, right? It's the reason that people are talking about 86 right now. It's the reason people are loving Tokyo Revengers, and the manga sales for Tokyo Revengers are through the roof right now. It's an inverse effect, right? If you really like the anime, a lot of people can't wait. They want to go check out the manga. For those who have already read the manga, they're eagerly anticipating the anime. If the studio dares change a scene, they're all over the forums talking shit about it. If the studio gets a scene right, hey, I'm the manga reader. This was great. I know what to expect. So yeah, I'm curious to see where the popularity has been and where it's going. So yeah, let's get into these seasonal rankings, Jerms.
So you're able to see the screen here. So let's go into fall 18 in the first week here. The format that they had, and we're using this our anime karma rankings here. We use the same user. Their formatting originally was a little weird like this, so you'll see a more consistent format as we go on here. But for this first week here, it's easy to see some why the number one show is the number one show for the first week, and that's JoJo, baby.
Yeah.
And then you see a lot of these other shows in the first week and seeing where they're ranked, and it kind of makes sense. Goblin Slayer, that first episode, everyone was talking about that like no tomorrow because
yes,
how infamous it is.
Yeah.
And SAO's SAO, you kind of expect a little high, but everything else is just was coming out at the time, and you can see a lot of these shows like probably like it's a little weird to see. They're kind of understandable, I guess. You can see why it's like a certain magical rail index is like a little bit lower. It's already like season 3. There's not gonna be that as many people watching, but there's some bangers here. Everyone was talking about Bunny Girl Senpai, and
people still do.
People still do, especially with that movie coming out that came out after. But there's some really great stuff in there.
Yeah, there is. In my opinion, it's overrated, but people still talk about it. People still like it. Even that first episode of SAO, that's like the first episode of the 3rd season, right? Wherever the hell it goes. I think even I saw that first episode and I was like, hell no. So in terms of the rankings, even I saw that. And then, of course, JoJo is going to be number 1. That's just not, especially, you have to understand, a couple years ago, anime wasn't as stacked as it is today. You know what I mean? Like, this seems like a little bit of a sleeper season. But again, back then, this was probably a really good season. But nowadays, we just have so much good shows coming at us that, yeah, JoJo's going to be number 1. That makes sense.
Yeah, so like I really enjoyed these last 2 shows here, the World and Colors and Bloom Into You. Absolutely, I really enjoyed those. I wonder how they're going to be at the end of the season. So you ready to go on to the end of the season and see how everything's kind of shifted over there?
Let's see it.
So now this is the normal format. It's probably gonna be a little hard to see here. But
Yeah,
Bunny Girl Senpai is all the way at the top, baby. You can see
that makes sense. That makes sense. I was thinking that, dude, because it's just such a popular show. That makes sense.
Yeah. And Zombieland Saga, I didn't even remember it being. I remember people were talking about the comedy, and I kind of enjoyed it, but I didn't expect it to be number 2, really. Like, especially when you got a slime, like reincarnated as a slime. Because like if you look at like the current, it's pretty funny because the current season is the you have more slime, and you have more Zombieland, and Zombieland's all the way
Yeah.
at the bottom. Spoilers.
True.
For
True.
right now.
Yeah.
So really interesting seeing how it went from season.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes to show you how stacked anime is nowadays. That goes to show you that on a normal season, Zombieland Saga is number 2. But the seasons nowadays are crazy. I mean, we got so much good stuff coming out. Yeah, all the way at the bottom.
It's also pretty funny that Gridman and Zombieland both had their first seasons back then, and now they're getting the second ones now. It's
that is funny. Yep.
And it's really interesting also to see JoJo all the way down at number 7 here. That's real interesting. 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah, that's really
barely beating out SAO. Oh, that's hard to see. That's hard to see. And it's not, if you look at the actual numbers too, it's barely beating out SAO. That's hard to see.
Yeah.
So, real quick, Jerms, should we go into, do you know how these numbers are calculated, I guess? Is he taking averages? Like you said this is a user, right? The weekly karma ranking or whatever. Is he taking the averages throughout the season?
So this is the so for this is per episode. So this is like, the episodes at week 12. So, on Reddit, when you update, usually when you look at a post or when you're watching a show, you usually like update it, give a little upvote, and then you look at discussions and all that kind of stuff. So this is, not to be perfect about how many people are watching this show, but usually when you update it upvote a show, you kind of enjoyed it, or something like that.
Okay, so this is going by the upvotes. This is going by the upvotes on Reddit then, right? Yeah. Okay, and this is taking the average, right? And so it gives us a ranking system, and we're getting an average here for this final week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah.
Some of these other shows really interesting to see. Like I totally forgot about School Juliet, Banana Fish, and all this other stuff. Black Clover somehow is a number 8 with like 63 episodes.
Number 8. Oh shit. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, that's real interesting to see. I can't, because that wasn't even there in the first week. That wasn't even ranked. So,
honestly, this list makes sense to me. Bunny Girl Senpai, it's a first season. Everyone thought it was going to be a good show because of her outfit. It's not that good of a show. Zombieland Saga, people love that shit. Goblin Slayer, everyone talked about it because, the first episode and all that. Reincarnated as a slime, that's the first season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gridman studio, I'm blanking on it. Trigger, it's a studio Trigger work. People hype up Trigger. JoJo, again, if you're watching JoJo, you're gonna love it. If you're not watching JoJo, which probably a majority of anime fans aren't, but it's still popular enough to hit 6. Same with SAO, right? Like there's a huge fan base for it, but yeah, it makes sense that a bunch of first seasons that are very hyped up are going to be a little bit higher than those. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everything else just kind of seems normal. No second seasons or anything crazy like that. So
yeah,
maybe we'll see in the future how those kind of fare and with all their new shows. So you ready to go to the next season here?
Let's do it.
So now we're in winter 2019 here.
Let me just say something here off the top. This is the season that I started watching anime seasonally. I've, throughout the years, I've always just watched whatever I thought was good, whatever's been recommended. There's been certain shows that I've been, I'll wait for a season to pass, then I'll catch up on them. But yeah, winter of 2019, I'll never forget it. I was, in college at the time. Roommates were also anime fans, so we would watch episodes every week, and this is where it hits home for me. This is when I first started watching seasonally, so this will be interesting to see. So just wanted to note that off the top.
Yeah, the one show that will show up, obviously, when we see the end of the season, I'm pretty sure this is the season. Is this the season with Demon Slayer? I'm pretty sure. I think the first week it might not be.
It might be spring actually. It's either winter or spring. So we'll see. Yeah.
Because I think it's not in here because maybe it started a little bit later, but
yeah,
we got some bangers here. Mob Psycho 100 season 2, Almost Neverland. Yep. Continue with the slime. Doro.
Yep. Quintuplets.
Quintuplets. Oh, a lot of good stuff here. A lot of good stuff. Yeah, there's some other kind of mesh shows like Kakaguri, second season. But for me, right here, it's a little sad to see it so down low. But Run with the Wind, Run with the Wind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
you like that
absolutely
one.
love that show. So it's a little sad to see it down so low, even though it was such a top tier show. But kind of these kind of rankings might not make sense to me. Promise
Yeah.
Neverland kind of came out of nowhere first season, easy to
Yeah,
people to watch.
so good.
Yeah, I think people were finally starting to get people were starting to get the hype of Slime. Slime is still huge.
Still,
Shield Hero.
yeah,
Shield Hero is okay. It's somehow getting a second and third season.
yeah.
But
Surprisingly,
quintuplets, oh, so good. And it's really so surprising to see a lot of these shows are getting second seasons and continuations.
yeah.
Promise Neverland hopefully should have gotten a better second season, but that's just how the cookie crumbled, unfortunately.
Yep.
But,
yeah, I remember when my roommate showed me the first episode of the first season. I was like, my history with it was he put it on and he's like, I think you'll like this show. And so I'm watching and I'm like, little kids, like, I don't know, like they're in some fucking house, some orphanage, like what is this? And then the last couple minutes hit and it's like, oh shit, they're on a farm, they're being fed to demons. I was hooked. Every week we watch Promised Neverland and Mob Psycho season 2. And every week those shows were bangers. And Kakeguri's second season, I didn't watch that weekly. It was kind of shit. Quintuplets, I'm actually watching that right now, trying to get caught up. But yeah, solid season. Solid season.
All the shows that you think you would expect to see at the top are at the top. So
pretty much
it's kind of running with the theme here. Now let's see the end of the season here and how that's kind of ended up. Oh, Kaguya was the one that didn't show up on the that first week there.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Kaguya hit like a truck, as everyone knows.
No shit, yeah.
So yeah, it looks like a lot of the top 6, are still kind of running with it. So, but yeah, easily when Kaguya came out and Chica started dancing, everyone was losing their shit.
This
makes a lot of sense.
I'm just curious, that Boogie Pop and Others, is that the remake of Boogie Pop Phantom? Do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't, it didn't seem like that was super popular. Yeah, and we see JoJo's here, part 5. It was a longer running one. I think it went for
30 something.
Whatever, like 30 something. So we see that's a little bit, yeah, we see that's a little bit higher up. Quintuplets is a little bit down. Neverland, I thought Neverland was my anime of the year for 2019. So the fact that it drops kind of shocks me. The fact that it drops below Shield Hero kind of surprises me. But yeah, I mean, Kaguya season 1, that's a surprise to absolutely nobody. In Mob Psycho season 2, a lot of people forget how great Mob Psycho was, but at the time, it seems like a lot of people liked it and watched it. I was watching it every week. I loved it, but it seems like not a lot of people were talking about Mob anymore. I guess that's because we're not having a continuation announced. But yeah, Kaguya doesn't surprise me, and yeah, so
yeah,
solid list.
Overall, the rankings kind of make sense to me. There's the only outlier for me is Run with the Wind, but that's just the personal love of the show. Everything else, Kakegurui wasn't that great. That's it kind of everything else kind of falls into their own places here.
Yeah, it slipped a little bit. I'm surprised that Neverland isn't at least top 3. That surprises me. I knew Shield Hero was popular, but beating out the first season of Neverland, I mean, a lot of people were hyped about Neverland, so that's the only thing that surprises me about the list. But Kaguya, Mob, yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
So now we're the spring of 2020, and woo, seeing this first week, I think it's gonna be very different from this last week here.
It has to be, or else I'll lose my faith in humanity. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So, One Punch Man season 2, number 1. I think with some hindsight, that's pretty high for how it.
That's pretty freaking high, man. That's pretty freaking high. We get Demon Slayer. Fun fact: you told me to watch Wonder Egg. I told you to watch Demon Slayer. I'm the one that you hadn't even heard about Demon Slayer before I told you. I'm like, Jerms, you actually came over one weekend. I think I made you watch like 3 episodes or something. I was like, you got to see this. It's good stuff. We got some Shield Hero, Isekai Quartet. Wow, that's a lot higher than I thought it would be for being a little spinoff.
Especially Fruits Basket. Oh my god, Fruits Basket.
Fruits Basket. Hey,
Fruits Basket. Woo.
Man, I was hyped back then. I was hyped for it back then. And yeah, we have some JoJo, we have Dororo. A little bit of a slower season, but I think we can both predict what's going to be number one at the end of the season. I think it's not even going to be a question. So
yeah, the one show, well, for me, but it's also, it kind of makes sense why it's so low, but oh my gosh, they did Zoku Monogatari dirty. But I guess there isn't probably that many people, so that's why the ranking's probably pretty low, because there's just so many episodes.
It's a continuation of a long-running series that, again, it's like JoJo. Does JoJo deserve to be 7? No, but you have to understand, that's a season 5, or technically season 5 of a long-running show. Not everyone's caught up to it, so it just makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not everybody's seen JoJo. Not everyone's seen JoJo. Not everyone's seen Monogatari. So it makes sense that they're a little bit lower, but yeah. Like we said, this is popularity. This isn't necessarily reflecting quality. So, if not everyone's going to be watching all 15 of these, if people are only watching, let's say One Punch Man and Demon Slayer, they're only going to upvote those. They're not going to upvote a series that they're not watching. You know what I mean? So, makes sense.
So, ready to see the end of the season here? It's not going to be a
Oh my god!
Out of nowhere, out of left field there.
What? Okay. How many people upvoted One Punch Man season 2? 3,774 people are idiots. I completely disagree with that. It's okay if you liked it. I didn't. If you enjoyed it, great for you. I hated it. JoJo is now at 3, and Demon Slayer has slipped. It actually slipped to 4. So wow,
because Demon Slayer really became huge. When at episode 19, as everyone knows. So I guess it kind of makes sense.
I guess it makes sense. Yeah, because right here it's saying episode 1 to 13. So it's the first, the seasons go by core. So this is the first core of the season. I guess it wasn't as hyped back then, but I don't know, man. I was hyped for it. And Attack on Titan
to be number 1 easily, but Attack on Titan, this wipes the floor with every single one of them.
And if you look at the number, 99-30 at down to One Punch Man 37-74. It's wiping the floor by a large margin there. So a lot more people upvoted Attack on Titan than anything else on this list. That makes sense. It's freaking Attack on Titan, but JoJo is higher than Demon Slayer. I would not have expected that in my wildest dreams. Maybe One Punch Man season 2 because it's One Punch Man. It's popular. Whatever. I mean, I don't know why people are upvoting it. I guess people are fine with shitty animation and shitty story and shitty characters and a shitty season all around. Shitty pacing. The pacing was the most horrendous. The fight scenes were garbage. Okay, whatever. I guess people don't fucking see it like me. I guess people are going to upvote it. But the fact that people upvoted JoJo more than Demon Slayer, that surprises me. And I love we both love JoJo, but that's the one thing that really surprises me.
Yeah, that I was really. I guess we should really. The first week is kind of hard, because Attack on Titan comes in out of nowhere, within the next few weeks. So I guess you can't really go off the first week and really see. There's still those big punchers still coming in a little bit later.
Right.
But everything else kind of makes sense here. Nothing really out of place where it shouldn't be. Ready to go for the next one?
Yeah, just one thing. Fruits Basket is a little underrated, but that makes sense. It's a remake. Not everyone's into shoujo, so that makes sense. But yeah, let's go on to the next.
So now we're at summer.
No surprise. Oh, Demon Slayer's still going, though. How is that not number 1? That's crazy.
Oh my god.
All right.
Well, I guess it's 14, so this is the first week. So maybe easily, I'm gonna be extremely surprised at the end if when we go to the next slide here, and it's not number 1. That's what's really going to surprise me if we don't see that here. But
yeah,
really interesting to see Dr. Stone so high up, right from the get-go.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. The big 3 that came out in summer of 2019 were definitely, and I thought that, I'm not just saying this because I'm looking at it. I thought this before it popped up. Because I remember, this is when I first started watching seasonally, was Dr. Stone, Fire Force, and Vinland Saga. Never got around to Vinland Saga. I dropped Fire Force and Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone is good stuff. I thought the first season was fantastic. Yeah, I guess it's just the next week, so Demon Slayer isn't going to be number one. But if Demon Slayer's not number one by the end of this summer season, I will be genuinely surprised. And the fact that people upvoted Dumbbells more than Fruits Basket is sad, but I guess it happens.
The one interesting thing that hasn't shown up this whole time until right now is One Piece is showing up on the radar.
I know. What the hell?
You'd expect it, like with the manga sales and everything. You expect One Piece to be up so high, but it's One Piece. Not everyone's watched 1,000 episodes.
Not everyone's watching it, and the only reason it's creeping up here is because it's summer. Summer is typically slower seasonally, so not as much show. Like I said, the big three, honestly, were Doctor Stone, Fire Force, and Vinland Saga. The only reason
Demon Slayer came in.
Yeah, Demon Slayer is still going, but I'm saying of new stuff. Those are like the three big ones. The only reason One Piece is here is because it's just it's summer. There's not as much new stuff coming out that's as high quality. So.
Yeah, and usually you can see right from the get go what shows are the big ones, and what people are going to be continue watching. What's the good quality stuff like? You're not going to see Copcraft or Carol Tuesday just jumping out of nowhere all the way from the top. Maybe some stuff like in the right below top 3 can jump up to number 1, but not going to get number 15 to number 1. Out of nowhere. Are you ready to see how the end? You already know. Everyone knows that number 1 is going to be right here at the end.
Yeah, let me make a prediction. I think it's going to be number 1 Demon Slayer, number 2 Doctor Stone, and then number 3 is probably going to be Fire Force.
I say Vinland Saga. I say Vinland Saga for number 3. That's just me.
I'm just thinking popularity, not quality. True. But yeah, let's see. Let's see.
Woo!
Okay, you're right. Nice.
Oh, Cautious Hero. Wow, really popped off there.
Okay, where the hell is Fire Force?
Fire Force is
nowhere to be seen?
Nowhere. I guess it already finished airing, I guess.
Oh, I guess it. No, I don't think it did. This is just because it came out in summer. It wasn't over yet.
Did it really fall off that hard? There's no way to fall off. No.
Go back to the beginning. Yeah, that's episode 1, right? I mean, it's kind of episode 1. Yeah, it was definitely airing at this time. So,
oh my god, did it just fall off the face of the earth? I think it might have. Oh my gosh. I didn't expect that there. Maybe I don't think we're missing something, but I'm pretty sure. I guess it just fell off the face of the earth. Wow, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah,
that's really interesting to see. Like some of these shows, I'm seeing here. Like I've seen some episode 1, so I guess maybe this was a weird season here.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at Rascal. Did that come out in? That was the movie. I thought we had. Oh, that's the movie. Okay, I'm like, what? I thought we just talked about that.
You're seeing all these numbers. They're really low numbers here. We're not seeing any like.
Well, Demon Slayer takes it by a mile. If you look at it, 11,000 to 3,000. It takes it by a mile. I gotta say, it looks like everyone dropped Fire Force when I dropped Fire Force. I thought I was the only one that dropped it, but apparently a lot of people dropped it too. And yeah, Doctor Stone and Vinland Saga makes sense. I guess. But yeah, Demon Slayer takes it by a mile, which is what we were expecting it to do.
So here we're at the first week of fall. It's really interesting for me to see that Fate Grand Order TV series is here at number 1.
Number 1. Number 1. That's huge.
Mm-hmm. It's not like obviously not blown in the water like we've seen in previous seasons. It's kind of just slightly above Vinland Saga, and Dr. Stone's fallen a little bit down, but everything else past that is half of that. So you can see, there isn't really any really big hitters other than I wouldn't even really count Fate into the big hitter category here because numbers are nothing to compare to some other shows like 11,000 for Demon Slayer or whatever.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think Boku No Hero came out this season, like the 4th season. So if that did come out fall of 2019, then that should be number 1, but we'll see where the chips land.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how the end of this season is going to be here. So we're just going on the next one because not much really going on here.
Yeah, I mean, we have Vinland Saga and Dr. Stone at the top, kind of continuing from summer. So yeah, not much new besides Fate Grand Order at the top.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
That's really interesting to see here. Vinland Saga really
So
took.
Vinland Saga topped Boku no Hero. That surprises me. That surprises me.
Yeah, because I think as we'll see once we get to like the latest season of Boku no Hero, it's slowly just falling. Even it's not even with with the season this kind of slow, it's still not even the number one. So that's a little bit
And
yo.
and we got some Fire Force in there at 5. I mean, that kind of picked up a little bit. Out of nowhere, we have Food Wars, the 4th season. That's in there.
Yeah, it looks like it jumped up 6 spots there for some reason. But it's only like 500.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
not even much really. Jumping up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, from what I'm seeing, number 1, 2, and 3 are all you have like 3 and below, which are all comparable. Then you have Boku no Hero, which is a leagues ahead of SAO. And then leagues ahead of Boku no Hero is Vinland Saga. I mean, it's beating it by, 2,000 plus. So that's interesting. I would not have expected that at all.
Yeah, I agree well because Vinland Saga is a first season, so I guess you could say for Boku no Hero being as its 4th season, that's doing pretty well. But it's
Boku no Hero. You would expect it to take that number 1 spot, especially since Vinland Saga was popular, but it's not. I don't think it's not as popular as this is leading us to believe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, more people know and have seen Boku no Hero, so the fact that it's beating Boku no Hero is
at the time
very interesting.
And
at the time, this was when Boku no Hero was in a really good arc too. This is before the the festival stuff. This was the good stuff. So it was beating Boku no Hero here, and that interests me.
Yeah, not much else to say here. Just everything else is just so low. It's not even really much worth talking about. Well, actually, for me, it's really interesting to see unfortunately, how low Uruma-kun is at number 9.
I knew you'd say that. I knew you'd say that. Yeah.
At 400, that's well, at least
not even cracking 5.
Ooh. Well, I'm guessing it has to be doing well in Japan because there's a second season that I'm watching right now. But
yeah,
I think that's more of for me. That's the hidden gem of that season because I just really enjoyed that show.
For sure.
But that's just me. That's just my thoughts on that. So ready for the next next season here?
Yeah, let's get into 2020. Kind of a dull year for anime, so let's see.
Boku no Hero is still at number 1. It's really interesting to see how low everything. Everything's real low. I guess this is what kind of expect in 2020. Boku no Hero just kept its still basically number 1 spot here, and then Aizuken was everyone was going so hard about it. And I didn't really enjoy it as much as a lot of other people did. The number 3 there, now that I really enjoyed, that's for sure. The spinoff of Madoka there,
but the fact that it's number 3 is very intriguing. Didn't seem like there was a lot of hype around it, and so the fact that it's 3 is pretty interesting.
I think everything really didn't have any much hype around here. Like Yuru Camp, it's nice.
Well, people, a lot of people really love that one, but it can't be that super popular. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nothing here really speaks Black Clover for me, but I haven't watched the anime, so I don't know how good that is. But for me, it's also really interesting to see how low. Well, not really low. I would have thought Necropara would be a lot higher, but I guess that's my degenerate side. I thought that'd be a high.
In Darwin's game, people were really hyping up Darwin's game.
Interesting.
Chihaya Furu. I mean, people really like that one.
That's a 3rd season, so maybe it's just more of a niche.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, Black Clover at 6. It's interesting. But Boku no Hero is number 1. I would have thought that'd be in the fall, but I guess it just took a little while for people to catch up. I guess so. Interesting.
Are you ready to go to the end of the season here?
Let's see it.
Woo! Tower of God at number 1 for some reason. I think people are going blind.
Yeah, we watched that one together, and we weren't thrilled about that one. I thought, I'll just say it. I won't speak for you. It was trash. That first season is trash. I know all the webtoon manhwa fans are like, it gets better, but I can only speak about the first season. That first season was garbage. And then we have Boku No Hero and some Haikyuu.
Yeah,
You know,
baby.
Haikyuu makes sense.
Isekai
Man, but what's really blowing my mind is that Isekai Quartet, man. That keeps showing up pretty high, and that's I guess I wouldn't have expected that.
I think it's a fun little watch, especially if you've seen all the shows. The only one I haven't seen there is Tanya the Evil, but
that's the thing though, Jerms. If you're not super into Isekai, well, a lot of fans are, but you kind of have to have seen all the shows to kind of get into that. It's not a low. It's not low entry. It's kind of has a high barrier of entry.
It's still interesting to see it's number 4. So even with all that,
yeah, that's what I'm
really
saying. Congrats for hitting 4. I just never would have expected that it would be 4. You know?
Yeah. And I thought maybe it'd be a little bit higher, seeing it just be just reviewers. That was everyone was talking about that one, but that's just maybe my group. That was a good time. But Dora baby.
Yeah, people hyped. Yep. I'm surprised it's not top 5, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have that ReZero movie or OVA. That's at 9. So that shows you how popular ReZero is. That a side OVA or movie can crack the top 10 like that.
Well, those are still that's pretty low numbers if you really think about it. I thought that'd maybe be a little bit higher, honestly. I think that.
Yeah, but most people are hyped up about like shows. You know what I mean? Like if a movie or an OVA can place high in here, I think that's pretty good. But who knows?
You have different thoughts on that, but that's just how that's how it would be.
Yeah,
I'm just so sad to see the Madoka being so low down there, but that's just it's a spin-off of Madoka, so it's not like everyone's seen it.
Yeah,
but it's interesting to see. Interesting to see, nonetheless. Ready to see the next season? I think we're about to start getting some real big spicy stuff here. Ready?
Let's see it. Spring 2020.
Still, the Boku No Hero since the end there.
Okay.
Still, I
can't. I can't see any of it. It's too blurry on my screen.
No problem. Yeah.
What's number 1?
Boku No Hero. It looks like the last episode. So it looks like there's still some middle, because it looks like Tower of God started a bit earlier. That's why that's why we saw that there. That was episode 1 we saw previously. So not much.
Fruits Basket season 2 getting higher up there. That's good.
Yeah, it's still everything else here. I'm really surprised to see how high Boku No Hero got here at like 9,000 at the end of it, but not.
2020 was a dull season, man.
Yeah, and there wasn't anything really big. I see nothing here that really speaks to me of like it probably should be higher. Fruits Basket was already. Fruits Basket is doing better than it was in the first season, it seems, overall in the rankings. But I think probably the numbers are probably still the same. This is just there's less competition here. So really, during 2020, if you came out with anything, you were number 1 or in the top 3 at least. If you had some backing behind you, like Tower of God here.
Yeah, like a Tower of God. Yeah.
Yeah. So that just seems like we're probably going to see this whole theme in 2020 is just anything that has already had a previous thing is going to already destroy the competition already on its own.
Probably.
So we're to see how it ends up, how the season ends up.
Yeah, let's see it.
Woo!
Wow.
Oh my god, this is not even like we thought everything else was like
by a large margin.
This is to the moon. This is like almost 10 times. Like this is not even we're not even playing the same league. This is like a college, not even college, like an NBA player going against like some elementary school. It's not even funny how different this is. Wow.
Yeah, that goes to show you the popularity and love and respect that fans have for Kaguya. So, and the second season was good. That also helps. And yeah, Kaguya, man, Kaguya.
Wow, not even a race here. Like, I guess maybe during this week, maybe everything has just died because we're getting the 39s and 34s over here.
Yeah.
So it seems like maybe everything is just so dead that this week that's all people had to watch, really. Glen Clear, I enjoyed that one on a personal note there, but And Princess Connect, I like the game as well, but not even close. Kaguya is just you can see easily what people were watching that week. That's for sure.
Kaguya-sama. Yeah. It's loved and respected. It absolutely trounces the competition. Fruits Basket in top 5, nice to see, but yeah, Kaguya,
the numbers are going lower and lower.
Clearly, people were watching Kaguya this season, big time.
Mm-hmm. Ready for the next one here? See next season. See what Okay, I think we're starting to get to the big stuff here. Yeah, oh my lord!
I was gonna say, God of High School has to be up there. Yeah.
Ooh, now we're cooking here. Look at ReZero is huge. 14,000. Oh my.
Yep.
And then like it's not. Luckily, it's still pretty high. The God of High School, it was pretty. Especially at the beginning, it was a real fun watch. It's real fun. I think everyone was having a lot of fun with it.
I'm surprised Fire Force Season 2 beats out Decadence. I'm actually surprised by that. And Fruits Basket second season, man.
And the numbers are getting lower and lower, it seems.
I know, man. It sucks because it's such a great adaptation of a classic shoujo anime. And it got the Brotherhood treatment, and people just aren't watching it for whatever reason.
Maybe in Japan.
We both know that it's good stuff.
Probably in Japan, hopefully.
Probably in Japan.
I imagine it had to be doing well if it's got a third season now. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I think before they even came out with the first that they were going to adapt all 3 because they leaked that a while ago. But just the fact that it's not connecting with the American audience kind of sucks. Sucks. But yeah, ReZero, God of High School, Snafu. I mean, those 3 are in a league of their own, and that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how many people came back for Snafu. I guess, I think the first 2 seasons were only like 12 episodes each, so it was probably easy for people to get right back into it. So that was really. I wasn't looking at the rankings at the time, so seeing Snafu up at top 3 right from the beginning is a real nice view for me to see. And I honestly, I thought Decadence. I didn't think I would have thought that not as many people were gonna watch it as I'm seeing here. I thought it would be like 7 or something, but seeing it.
Really?
Seeing it number 5 is actually kind of surprising for me.
I thought because of how it looked in some of the comments I saw online that people, I assumed that it would start high and then end low personally. So, yeah, but yeah, 5. I mean, that's still pretty high. That's still
it's got a few thousand.
Still pretty good for an anime original.
No backing,
but nothing's gonna top that ReZero and God of High School 2 with that beautiful animation.
Snafu, baby. Now it's gonna be really interesting to see how this and the end of the season is gonna be. If the numbers are still gonna be up this high, or was it just that initial of like that last season of having nothing, or than Kaguya?
I think that the top 2 probably still stay the same, but let's see. I'm curious.
All right, let's see. Ooh, close.
God of High School slipped
a little bit,
but ReZero is in
still
a category
hitting the big
of its
numbers.
Own. I mean, big numbers. That's lapping the others at 12,000, and at 4. Oh my! Look at that! It's our favorite anime, Jerms. It's Higarashi's remake.
That's the first episode. First episode. People didn't know.
Yeah,
they didn't know back then, James. What we've seen, they didn't know what we've seen. The horrors. Not because the show was actually scary, because the actual show was that bad. That's spooky.
Yes, clarify for the people. And then we have Rent a Girlfriend. Yeah, I think that's going to get higher probably. Burn the Witch. I mean, it's an OVA. That's just a flicker. Like, that's why I'm saying when the ReZero movie was popular, I was like, oh, okay. Like, these aren't things that aren't going to stay on these lists because, it's not an ongoing series. Then we have Fire Force, and
well, those
down there at 12.
For me, there's one outlier here that it like from, well, I guess popularity and like the amount of you see it aren't really also all the same. But yeah, Yuzaki-chan, I feel like that would have been like top 5, but all the way down.
I thought it would have been higher too.
Yeah, like especially the amount of memes and all that kind of stuff about it. I thought not more people would be watching it, but not even cracking 1,000 at the end.
Well, this is the end of summer, right?
I guess, yeah, it's the end.
So I think people initially watch for the tits, and then maybe they're like, it's okay. So I could, you have to understand some are really going to rise and fall. You know what I mean? So that makes sense to me. At 12, you got JoJo Part 7. Yeah, that makes sense that it's low. I think it's funny that it wasn't even in the beginning of the season, and now it's pretty low. But yeah, interesting. I totally thought God of High School would have been number 2, but yeah.
Demon King. I liked it. I don't think it's number 2 worthy, but also God of High School didn't really end too hot either. I personally would have put like Rent a Girlfriend up on the top 3, and then Uzaki-chan.
Well, in terms of quality, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah, in terms of quality.
But yeah, I guess popularity wise, it somehow did really well because it's real interesting to see how Demon King Academy became so highly watched, even though people were shitting all over it. Probably, from what I remember.
Yeah, 2020 was definitely a slow year for anime, and so. Yeah, that's why you see, I mean, what we're seeing is a vast disparity here. We're seeing a lot of people watching Kaguya, and then,
ReZero.
Everything below it is way below it. We see a lot of people watching ReZero, and then everything below it is way below it. So we're kind of seeing a theme here of the top dog really being the top dog, as opposed to, 2019 and a little bit of 2018 where there's a little bit more competition. It seems like in these seasons, people really latched onto one show because the quality wasn't really there. I mean, it was 2020, enough said, but not the best year for anime for sure, and for the world.
And let's see what we're gonna get next year. I think now we're about to get into real big spice, the real big boys all coming together.
Yeah, I think fall picks up a little bit. Yeah, Here we go.
Now we're getting a lot more even spread here. But Jujutsu Kaisen doing well right from the get-go, which is real interesting to see. I thought maybe it would have been started a little bit lower initially, and then people started watching it. But it's really interesting to see a lot of these shows in the top 10.
Again, it's 2020. But yeah, Haikyuu doesn't surprise me. The Marriage Show doesn't surprise me. What surprises me, Jerms, is Higurashi. Because we're going into fall now. We're going to see top 5.
It's going to be way down next at the end of here. There's no way unless people are still watching this like no tomorrow.
But that's what I'm saying. This isn't a first episode. I mean, people have latched on to Higurashi and they're interested, and you have to assume at least half the people watching watch the original, right? So yeah, interesting to see that it's so high, and. You have like Noblesse in the top 10. That hopefully that doesn't stay in the top 10. Akudama Drive's right outside the top 10. Golden Kamui's right outside the top 10. Yeah, I think this is going to shuffle around a lot. Yeah, Elena has to go higher.
I'd imagine.
I bet Elena gets top 5.
I think that was mostly my hype. Maybe it will be a little bit lower, but it's really. I
was hyped about it. I loved it.
Yeah, so
I think it was good.
So
but we'll see how the people thought.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot of shifts here. I think also we're probably still missing a few shows here. So let's move to the next season and the next part at the end of the season.
Wait, real quick, can I make a prediction?
Yeah, do a prediction.
Number 1 is going to be Attack on Titan's final season because remember it came in late, it's going to be a huge disparity. I think Kaizen moves to number 2, but let's see. Told you.
Wow! Whoa! Okay, this had to be like a week after some shows like ended because look all
it has to be.
This is not even.
Go back to the first graphic for if you can.
Elena was 12.
The Marriage Show, Elena, Akudama Drive. I feel like those easily could have been there.
I can pull up the week before. You want to see that?
Yeah, let's see the week before. I'm just curious because we thought a shakeup would happen, but that's a huge shakeup at that point.
Ooh. So we got a huge, major shakeup here. Good thing we went back a season.
This is the week before. This is the week before, right? Huge shift. I mean, Akudama Drive, which I just mentioned, should have been on that list, coming in at number 3. Ooh. Wow, would you have expected that? Honestly, a lot of people were watching that show. I'm surprised.
Wow.
Yeah.
Elena kind of stayed around I thought. But like basically all like 5 and like to like 9 are all basically the same. But seeing Haiku not as high is a little sad to see, but Akudama, wow, really came.
Akudama beat Haiku. Can you believe that? Akudama beat Haiku. That's like weird to me, but okay. And then the marriage show, that's got to be top 5. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really
much more context.
Yeah, so then good thing we saw that because this doesn't even yeah, but as you would expect, once Attack on Titan came in, it was never the same. That's one thing.
Yeah, the day I became a god, I believe was outside the top 10. Now it's up to 4. So that's a huge shift right there. That's pretty drastic.
Yeah, because everything else I'm looking just on the side here, like number 13, number 12 was like 970. So it just like compressed the whole thing there. That's the only reason it was up able to get that high. That ending was garbage. Right. But that's just my personal opinion on that. So you ready to go for the next season? Now I think numbers again, it's just gonna be the big hitters here. Ready to see?
Now it's gonna because real quick before we go for this one, the big hitters are clearly Kaizen and Attack on Titan.
Mm-hmm.
So once we get into this next season, once we hit 2021, I think the big hitters are really gonna take off. So yeah, let's see them.
Okay, so we're back. Now we're looking at a more accurate because for some reason the first week didn't have Attack on Titan and Jujutsu Kaisen. Second week only had Attack on Titan and ReZero. So now this is a lot more accurate right here.
This is, yeah.
And this is not even oh my lord, look at Attack on Titan there. This is the biggest we've ever seen something in the past like few years.
Yeah, that's a huge jump. You have Attack on Titan ReZero. ReZero beating out Kaizen. I know you people love ReZero, but man, I'm kind of surprised ReZero's beating out Kaizen.
Horimiya coming up here.
Horimiya, Mushoku Tensei, Dr. Stone. What a fall from grace. I mean, that show dominated summer of 2020, and here it is a little bit lower. But that goes to show you what I was saying. In 2020, there was a little bit of a lull. Now we're back in 2021. The quality and the quantity goes up. I mean, a lot more great shows coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is not even.
Yeah.
Oh, just like
look at that quintuplets, dude. Quintuplets doesn't even make top 10. Like that goes to show you how stacked it is. Wonder Egg is down to 8. Promised Neverland is down to 9. I guess people saw the first 2 episodes and were like, "What the hell is this?" And I don't blame them. Look at 15. Beastar season 2 at 15. I mean, again, I kept saying winter 2021 was the most stacked season of anime, and look at this. I mean, this is a crazy list of anime right here, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like for me, a lot of these are just good hitters here. Like I haven't seen I need to watch the Beastar season, but I enjoyed the first season. Yuru Camp, fantastic.
Hold on. How are more people watching Redo of the Healer than One Piece and Beastars? What?
Well, this is the infamy of it, you know? It's the infamy.
I know. But this is the second episode. After you saw the first, why would you? I don't know. I don't understand.
Oh, so you ready to see how the end of the season shook up to be? Let's see if this changes.
Yeah, scroll up and let's make a prediction. What are you gonna say is the top 5? What ends up the top 5? We know Neverland's not going to be there. Attack on Titan easy. Well, actually, does it go all the way to the end of the season? I don't think it. No, maybe it does. Maybe it does actually.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think it does.
And then
Attack on Titan's 1, and then does Kaizen or ReZero move?
I would say Kaizen takes over ReZero.
Kaizen takes 2.
I would.
ReZero takes 3. And then what about 4 and 5? Does Mushoku Tensei get 4?
I would hope the Jobless moves up, and then maybe Stone moves up, and maybe Horimiya goes down 1. Maybe we'll see. That's why.
We'll see.
Ooh. Whoa!
Wow!
Whoa! I don't know.
Kaizen moving down. ReZero holding its spot.
Even with 2.
But how does it? But yeah, how does Attack on? Oh, the double episode, right?
Yeah, the double episode.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
Wow, Slime really came up out of there.
Look at Slime. Look at Slime. Slime really beat
look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Jobless has. Wow, huge increase.
Basically, the top 6 are in a league of their own, and then everything from 6 down is
look at Wonder Egg. Wonder Egg jumped up.
It jumped up, but look, 5,000 compared to 10. I mean, that's like, sad to see.
But well, compared to like a 5,000 would be like number 1 of 2020.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's what I'm saying.
These are leagues on their own.
Year. It's a whole new season. It's a whole new shakeup. Yeah. See, episode 14 and 15 split up like that, and people liked ReZero more than 14, but not as much as 15. So that's interesting. But the real interesting thing is Slime beating Kaizen.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, you look at the overall. There's like 100,000. Like, I think we won't might even see a season with this many things at once. Big things at once. These are all just huge hitters. Like, just Jobless right here. If you just took this for like a season, this would be like a pretty good season, But then you add in these as well, and this is an absolutely top tier season. If you were there during the time, you would know. Yeah, it was definitely a top tier season.
I'll say it again: the best season of anime that the medium has ever had. And the only thing I can take away from this is I think I underestimate Slime because I'm just not into isekais and I haven't really watched it. Mm-hmm. So I think Slime is a lot more popular than I understand it to be. Yeah, I don't give it enough credit, it looks like. If you beat out Kaizen, you're doing something right.
Mm-hmm. And Jobless is like almost right there with Kaizen, basically. Surprisingly, I
thought there, neck and neck.
I thought Jobless would be like maybe around here, or but seeing it up so high, we talk about it and we love it so much, but we don't really see how many other people are watching, and it seems like there's tons and tons of other people watching it with us.
Those 3 in this season are neck and neck. Jobless, Kaizen, and Slime. And then from there on, the next 3, Attack on Titan and ReZero, they're off on their own category. But yeah, those 3 are really neck and neck. I mean, 10,300, 10,200, those are, same. Depends on who logged in that day and wanted to upvote. I mean, that's neck and neck right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crazy. Yep. Absolutely crazy to see. Now we're going to go to a little bit slower season and go back to, we'll just go to the end here and see once those big ones came out, what kind of, so this is what the spring looks like. Horimiya, like last episode at number 1.
Last episode, yeah.
But seeing the Zombieland being basically number 1 for the new season is kind of crazy if you think about it, because it's a second season right there, and it's beating Boku No Hero season 5.
Yep.
Well, it
was big when it first came out, and what surprises me is Megalo Box, dude, at number 6. Unfortunately, it's not going to hold that position as
and that's not even a high
season goes on.
Not even like we were talking about 10,000 and all. Now we're back to like 2,000.
Yeah.
So it seems like everyone took a little break after this. But it's for me, it's real interesting to see the Higuro being up so high initially. Mm-hmm. I personally like the series and enjoy it, so I like seeing it up so high. But I wonder how this is going to change to see where it's currently at, because now we're in the current season, so. It's interesting to see. Yeah,
you have to think 86. You have to think Nagatoro. You have to think Tokyo Revengers. I mean, I think a lot of these are going to shift downward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because those aren't even in the picture yet.
Yep.
And then let's look at the second week, or like third week. So those are coming, and then we'll look at the current week, just to just so we have an idea of how everything was here at once. Woo, wow! Right from the look at that. Once everything was in, this is a total shakeup here.
Well, yeah, I think Revengers is still going to move upward. But yeah, look, you got Nagatoro, you got 2 Year Eternity, you got 86, you got Mugen Train. People are,
Spider, wow, really?
It's still coming out in theaters.
Spider, really?
Yeah, Spider. I kind of expected that. Vivi's pretty high. Shadow's House almost makes top 10, doesn't do it. Megalo Box almost makes top 10, doesn't do it. So like I said, I think,
and everything else is just so down below. Wow, but still, even for 15 being at like 1,000 plus, that's pretty respectable for a number 15. But wow, 86 really just right from the get go. Really, not even a growth. It just bam, there it is.
And you and I have talked about the slow pacing and our issues with the show. So let's see if the people are still interested. I'm curious to see if people are still watching 86, if they're still on the bandwagon, or if it moves down a few spots. I bet it moves down a few spots. I bet Nagatoro and probably Revengers move upward. But hey, that's our bias. That's the ones that we're digging. So let's see.
So this is what it is currently right now. This is
the current week.
This is the current week. Vivi really jumped up.
Whoa, definitely not what I was expecting. I was totally wrong. Yeah, Vivi jumped way up. The Kaguya OVA's in there. 2 Year Eternity has more viewers than I thought it would be. Spider. Nagatoro doesn't crack top 5.
Better than
Boku no Hero Boku no Hero does not crack top 5. Tokyo Revengers does not crack top 5.
Almost barely, not even top 10.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Those 3 really surprised me.
Mm-hmm. Wow, and Megalo Box is barely hanging on number 15.
Yeah, Irumu-kun is barely hanging on. I mean, Shadow's House is barely hanging on. Fruits Basket. Yeah, I mean,
wow, really interesting.
I don't think the quality is as high as last season, but the quantity is certainly here. I mean, there is a wide selection of shows to watch this season.
Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting to see how Boku no Hero is just slowly going down and down on the rankings here. It's not like there's like a big jump anywhere. It's just kind of going just downhill a little bit. So it's really interesting to see in the future when we do this again to see if Boku no Hero rises back up, or is it gonna kind of stay where it's been the past few seasons.
Yeah, I think at the end of the season we will definitely touch base on this and see where the chips are falling.
Mm-hmm.
With all the memes and all the controversy, I thought Nagatoro would be higher. 86 I thought would be top 5, maybe top 3, but man, people are really rocking with 86 this season. Mm-hmm. And Vivi. I mean, Vivi's pretty high. That's really good.
Yeah, so. I think personally, if I were to, have my own rankings here, I'd probably have Vivi top 3 for sure. I'd probably move Rangers up, maybe be in the top 3 as well. And Nagatoro, but everything else, you kind of move around a little bit. But wow, just seeing Tokyo Revengers be top 9, almost number 10. That's kind of a little sad to see.
Well, maybe in Japan it's doing well. In Japan it's doing well. The manga sales are going off the charts, so maybe it's an American thing. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe just the more middle school and gang, maybe who aren't really interested in that kind of thing right now.
Yeah,
but some
that makes sense.
People are really digging into 86 for some reason. That's really interesting to see there. Wow, it doesn't seem like a really popular. It would be a popular. I feel like this would be top 10 kind of stuff. Just kind of it's interesting, but people aren't watching it. But people are watching this no tomorrow. Even you would think the Kaguya OVA would be 10,000. Everyone knew how spicy that shit was gonna be. Yeah, it's really interesting to see how crazy people are rocking with 86, and even though it's a lot more darker and not a more friendly show and to anyone okay, Kaguya OVA, okay, it's a little bit more ecchi, maybe some people didn't watch for some reason, but 86 is pretty dark and it's somehow number 1. So that's real interesting to see.
The real hidden gem is and again, I'm assuming it stays as good as it's been. I've only seen the first 3 episodes, and I'm assuming it stays in the rankings where it's at. But if this holds up and it stays as good as what I've seen it to be, the real hidden gem for me would be Shadow's House, that. And I guess Megalo Box. I mean, we have to see how it ends. It's kind of tapering off a little bit, but I mean, yeah, from what I saw with Shadow's House, that seems like a really high production into that show. And to see it 13, wow. Same with Megalo Box. I understand Megalo Box. Not everyone's seen the first season, but yeah, look out for Shadow's House. I can't promise it'll stay as good as what I saw it to be. I only saw the first 3, but if it holds up like that, that's the real hidden gem this season, in my opinion. Because that should not be 13, but
Well, I
We'll see.
I have some interesting little tidbits to add here because I am watching a lot of stuff from this current season, and a lot of it I don't see in here, Mr. James. And that's a little spooky. Not even
A lot of stuff you're watching.
Like the full dive RPG. I think that's honestly a hidden gem. I think that should be probably top 3, top 5, and it's not even the top 15. So I guess no one's watching that one there. But
yeah, like I said, the quantity. I think if you want to categorize it, last season gave us a ton of quality, like the best of the best season we've ever had. This season is all about quantity. I mean, just so many shows that you can watch. I mean, yeah, I'm watching more shows now weekly than I think I've ever watched ever before. I mean, just so much stuff. I mean, thank God summer's going to slow down a little bit because there's just so much I'm going to have to catch up on when the season's over.
Yeah, real interesting to see how this season is going right now, and it shouldn't change too much. There's only like 4 weeks left, but we'll see in the 4 weeks. A month from now, what's going on, how it's all ended up. So,
yep, and let's cap off this weekly discussion. Did you learn anything from this fun exercise we did, Jerms? Anything that makes an anime popular? Anything that surprised you? Any anime that you took for granted? I certainly have one I took for granted. Any insights here?
Yeah, it's just real interesting to see a lot of like these hidden gems that, you don't, if you look back at this, from the perspective we're doing right now, just from the past and looking back at just the top 15, there's a lot of shows you're gonna miss out if you're just looking at these top 10, 15
100%.
list. You gotta really just
100%.
It's kind of hard, to go back in a season and just look for that kind of those hidden gems and the good shows that for you that might exist. So don't take these as like top 10 list of the season and all that kind of stuff and just focus on those. Look at really the whole season as a whole and not just focus on 10, 15 shows that other people watched. There's a lot of stuff from this season that people aren't even watching that I told they love more than a lot of these. So that's my main takeaway. Even if a show's popular, even if it's like top 10 of a season, usually people just focus on like the top few of the season and not even talk about these other ones. But if you're a real anime fan and you want to just find that good stuff, you got to just look at the whole season as a whole. You can't just look at these kind of lists. That's my main takeaway. Even if the thing's popular, might not be for you.
For sure. Yeah, a lot of stuff that's ended up in the top 3, top 5 I haven't seen and have no interest in seeing for some of the seasons. For some of the seasons, I'm like, yeah, I totally saw that. It makes sense. I think they're pumping out more anime now than they ever have before. And if you're not a seasonal watcher, there's going to be a lot to catch up on if you want to. I mean, it's almost impossible nowadays to catch up on every single show that's good. I mean, it's just impossible at this point. But yeah, certainly a fun exercise, and we're going to check back in on this at the end of the season. All right, so that's going to wrap up our discussion for this week. That's going to wrap up our show for this week. That was a pretty fun exercise. We should probably do more like that, huh, Jerms?
Yeah, we have a lot of things we can analyze. There's tons and tons of stuff, so look forward to that in the future.
Yeah, and the seasonal stuff is, I mean, it's all the rage now, I mean, being a seasonal anime fan it has its perks, it has its disadvantages, but it's certainly all the rage now. All right, Weebs, we hope you enjoyed your stay. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that. Sub if you're not already subbed. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, give us a follow there. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Peace out. Weebs out.